So what do you see in the coming days for Bitcoin? They say, well, if you're a psychic, why don't you just play the lottery? Why can't we predict our financial success? Why can't psychics make money? Why do kids have jets on YouTube? Okay, all right. I'm excited for this one. So I figured with the run up of Bitcoin surpassing 30,000, which is something that you predicted, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Just a few days ago, I posted something about it going up a little bit to 30,000 before I think it's going to start coming back down again.
Okay, all right. So I wanted to do a psychic probe on wealth and financial abundance, if you will, because I feel like cryptos represent that. It's like people aren't in love with cryptos. It's like they just want to hit it big. It's like they went the lottery. And that's kind of what Bitcoin, in my opinion, it's one of its personifications, if you will. It's like decentralized currency. No one can touch it, power to the people. So, but right now it's like a trader's market. It just shot up. So what do you see in the coming days for Bitcoin?
Okay, let me get grounded here and see what comes up. Well, it seems like it could go up a little bit more, but then come back down. It seems to be volatile this month, and overall, it seems like it's going to create a lot of hope, but then it's going to come back down and disappoint a lot of people within the month. By the end of the month, that is. Personally, I'm planning on buying some just for the long term to hold because it seems like it may be kind of starting to reach a point where it isn't necessarily the exact bottom, but it's close to that where it seems like it's kind of building more stability, and I'm seeing it building up to around 2025. That's the sense that I get around 2025. Seems that it's going to blow up a little bit, and a little bit into 2026 potentially, and then it kind of comes back down again. But then again, and as I've done this, I've done readings on it in the past, and as I do readings more, it shifts, and so like the future is not entirely set in stone. So like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
and this is part of the reason why you would want a future prediction, because if it's set in stone, it's set in stone. But if there's a way to change it, then it's helpful to know.
I see.
Um, this is why
Mm.
Nostradamus did what he did. This is why, he even Nostradamus had multiple outlines for the future. This is one timeline, and then he'd write a different timeline, and then a different timeline, and like these are different ways that the future could go. And so, um, anyways, the reason why I'm saying this is because I've noticed that in the past, like a year ago or so, I was getting the sense that like 2026 was like it, and then it just kind of went to crap. But now I've been getting within the last couple months that it's going to come back up a little bit around 2027, 2028, and kind of stabilize a little bit there. And it could do a little bit better leading up to like 2030 or so, but a little bit around there, a little after 2030 or so, it seems to kind of just like come down and not really be that popular anymore.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
I hate doing cryptos. And when I got into this, I find that, listen, it's a good question when someone hears when they're skeptical of psychics. They say, well, if you're a psychic, why don't you just play the lottery? It's
Right.
it's a good question. That's the thing. And all these remote viewers like crypto viewing and all the origin story, Russell Targ, they all tried it. They played the forex market, silver, all the stories, and they make it sound like it's a real thing, but it's not. You can't predict your wealth, and that's why I wanted to kind of have a psychic approach to like why. I mean, I have my theories, and I have what I believe is the answer, but I can't say for sure. I can't put any bets on it. I mean, I do technically, but yeah, the idea is, um, you know, why can't we predict our financial success? What is the purpose? What's the reason? Because there is a reason. It seems almost like sentient. It's like we had a prediction at one point for the entire month. This is when Shiba or Dogecoin was going crazy. So we went week by week, day by day, and is this a green day or a red day? Green day or a red day for let's just say Shiba. I think it was Shiba. So every single day was right, in terms of it being like a really good day or a really bad day. Everything was right except for one day where it was foretold to be an amazing green day. Let's place our bets, right? And that day, out of the 30-day calendar, that was the day it went in the opposite direction. It was the worst. It was like if you were bullish on it, it's like you just got wrecked. So in a way, that's kind of like success within itself, because it's 30 out of 30 if you count the fact that we were so wrong that it was almost ironic. And I say that because it almost seems, like I said, sentient in nature, where it's almost not meant to be. And what is the reason for that? I figured we could probably tap in to some energy and get an answer.
Yeah. I want to add to that because it's funny, even though it's not funny, but whenever I feel like I have something big that I've read about crypto market or the stock market or whatever, it's like whenever I get excited about it, that's when it's not right. And it's exactly what you're saying. Like it's just like when I don't care about it, I'm just like, oh yeah, this will do this will do that, whatever. And I don't invest in it, I don't care about it. It you know, that's what it does. And then when I get invested in it and I start caring about it, it just or when I get excited about something. Um,
Sure, it slips through the fingers. When we would do stock analysis, those are all played out. A lot of the time we do this stock analysis and then it was like they were all duds and we avoided it. So I guess that's a win, but it's like we didn't hit it big, you know.
okay, yeah, that's an interesting subject. So let me go ahead and get grounded here and just I guess the question that I'm looking for would
Who
be
who would you be asking? What entity or energy? What are you probing?
so I mean, I just usually tune into my own higher self, my own spirit, whatever you
Okay.
want to
Yeah,
call
your
it.
higher self will know the answer.
So yeah, I'll just see what comes up here. Okay. And I'm saying this through abstract symbols because it's kind of that's usually how I read things, and it's a pretty abstract question too. So I don't even know what this means yet. I'll just describe it as it goes by. But I'm seeing someone um, working where there's like a conveyor belt with things coming through it, and these look like newspapers, and this person's organizing newspapers, grabbing some of the newspapers out that look like they have gold nuggets in it. Then they're taking these newspapers that have like gold infused into the newspapers in a wheelbarrow, and they're reading through it. So let me see. What does this mean? What is the message here? There's like this tragic news, and so even though there's this gold in the newspaper, there's this negative news in the newspaper. So let me see. What does this have to do with them and their abundance? It seems to do with planning because they're planning things out. Um, Trying to understand what the message is here. It's affecting the heart chakra, and this is influencing their identity. So it looks like that is involved here. Um, yeah, there's planning, and it seems like the planning is actually not how it works. Like it doesn't work according to plan. It seems like it's kind of more energetic in the sense of where you are energetically in your life, like kind of like the law of attraction, although it's more complicated than just that by itself. There's much more going on.
So it's like you mentioned identity. So I mean, a common what a lot of it is like you're if you have the mindset and if you can identify with someone who is wealthy, and then you strip away your negative belief systems that's in your head, then you can then personify a wealthy person. So then you energetically shift. Is that what is that what you're trying to say? Is that theory correct in what you're interpreting?
I think there's truth to that, but I think there's something different here that I'm reading. So let me see more about what this is supposed to mean with the identity. I'm seeing someone like playing with toys, like the identity is kind of like a toy, but it's like a baby toy, so it's not like it's really helpful, is what I'm getting here. Let's see more about this. What I'm saying here now is money and someone dressed very professionally and taking on the role of professionalism. And so, like, you can have the mindset and the expectancy to, you know, do well with your plans. But if you're not living it, like this person who is, putting on this, outfit and living that type of lifestyle, um, it looks like the plans fade away over time. So it's like you can have the right mindset and make the right plans, but if you're not continuously living in a way that's towards what you want, you're going to lose it. Kind of like a lot of people may, put all their eggs in one basket and quit their job and stop making money. And it looks like when you stop doing that, then it's likely that you're just going to lose everything. Um, it's kind of like the idea that
I don't know. I mean, I gotta say, I've seen time and time again, there are people who just stumble through life making money. Like they just, I know these people, they're artists, just not complex people at all. I
yeah,
wouldn't trust them with, and then they bought a little warehouse for like $1,000 in a ghetto that all of a sudden became a design district, and it was worth millions of dollars. And it was like he made statues, and he would get all these contracts, and they're all right, but they're just super wealthy. They're just they smell, they smell like they're not people that you would
yeah,
think, and I can tell many of those stories. Even a lot of these rising stars like Conor McGregor, they just seem to have it all, and all of a sudden they're just 100 millionaires. Over time you watch them ascend. And what is it? Is it part of their life contract? Is that maybe the newspaper that you are referring to?
yeah. Okay, let me. I mean, yeah, you're right. There is more to this. It's not that simple, but yeah, I think this has more to do with the plans. So let me see what's going on here. This. What are the newspapers? Okay, so the newspapers are like a life plan, and the outfit isn't necessarily like you have to be, dressed like a businessman. That's just the way that it's showing up here. Um, but let me ask more about this. It's more about the outfit being representing what you're doing in life and following your ambitions, even if it's not, it doesn't have to be business like, but it's about putting on the outfit, is what I'm getting here. Let me see more about like why is it that some people in particular just stumble into it? Because this is specific to people who plan things out and like put of too much eggs in one basket, I guess you could say, and why that doesn't work out. But it looks like there are obviously people who just stumble into it. So let me see what comes up with that. Okay, I'm seeing someone meditating in front of a lake, and it's like they have a very peaceful mind here. And so this peace of mind seems to allow them to really connect with what they want. Um, oh, okay. So this is going back to the newspaper, and the newspaper is really affecting people's emotions, affecting their mind, creating instability in their mind, and it creates this sense of um, just uncertainty, I guess you could say, which seems to prevent them from being able to just flow with the energy. So let me see, what is this about? Okay, so there's something here about passion and where people are just able to follow their passion. And this can go into areas that don't have anything to do with making money. But if you're following your passion, then it's like money will kind of appear.
Okay. All
Isn't
right. So
necessarily all.
I'm hearing a couple different things. Like if your emotions are, if your temperance, if you will, are even keeled, then you're more receptive to experiencing. You're more in touch with the things that you want as a kind of abundance, as opposed to someone who has erratic emotions that creates a block.
Yeah, but I think it's more just the mental state. I think the emotions could be tied into that too. Yes. Um, I also get the sense that this is not like one size fits all. Um, like there's so many different factors here. Like it's hard to really have an answer because I think there's a lot of blocks that people can have in their energy field, and so this is going to differ with every single person.
Okay, well, let's define wealth. I think that would help. So, your
Right.
average person has bills, and, those bills catch up with you. And then there's like the treadmill effect of life. No one's like free from it. It almost seems like the more money you make, the more bills you have, you know? Whereas, like, if I was in my 20s again, I was like a very minimalist, and I wish I had the bills in my 20s that I do now. You know what I mean? And it's like, how did that happen? It's like I think a lot of people could relate to that. And also, I would say cryptos are a nail biting investment. So that is kind of like putting your eggs in one basket. And that is an emotional turmoil to go through, to think, oh, I'm going to hit it big. It goes to zero. Your balance gets wrecked. I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm making
that's
sense.
no, that's kind of what I was getting at with the putting on the outfit and continuing on in life and not just sitting around hoping that that's going to work, because it seems like that's just like creating stagnation. And so if your energy is just stagnant, it's not moving, it's not creating, and it's not able to manifest something new. It's like, if you just get too hung up on one thing, you're not growing, and things just don't work out for you. In Chinese medicine, they say that energy that isn't flowing is stagnant, and stagnation is what causes disease, or one of the things that causes disease. So, going on this, because I feel like there's so many different answers to this for different situations and different people.
Okay,
But
well, let's see what. Let's answer the original question. Not to interrupt you. Why can't psychics make money? Why
why
can't they
can't
predict? Why can't they? Yeah, why can't they get lottery tickets? Is time
oh
fluid?
well, I have my own answer to that, which is that it's digital, and there's a difference to reading energy, which is it's just different, because like a number is, it's not even like, it doesn't have that much energy to it. It's not alive. It's not something that you can like tune into the auric field of a number. It's just like a concept.
But there's different ways
Um,
to predict it, and everyone's tried
yeah,
every different thing. They've associated numbers with smells and cinnamon and stuff like that, and it just
that's
it just would seem that, I mean, my theory is that you shift into the reality of time, that you will not make the big money on Dogecoin or Shiba Inu or Bitcoin. So even if it was predicted that Bitcoin was going to go up the following day, your consciousness will shift into the reality where it goes down because you weren't meant to, so to speak, until you've become the empty vessel that can create that kind of wealth. That's my theory. So I won't be
that
so
makes sense.
bold as this. Yeah, but nevertheless, that would be a good question for your higher self if time is fluid for each individual consciousness.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see what comes up for that. I'm just seeing someone pinpointing all the different times when something's going to happen, but it's almost like there's a depression in them. But I'm going to tune in. What is? Why are they not able to embrace it? Like, there's some part of them that's not able to embrace it, is what I'm getting. This looks like just programming. Like, they've just been kind of programmed to be a certain way. Like, that's how it's not so much that they necessarily expect to be a certain way, although I think that is a factor as well. This seems more like it's programming that could come from their parents, with like family expectations of how much money you're supposed to make. This also looks like is programming coming from social expectations of their friends and the groups that they associate with, which kind of creates a, I guess this is going back to the identity of what they identify with. And so if you can't identify with being a certain way, then you're probably not going to experience that reality. I think that's the short answer. I could keep going, but
Well, is that another way of saying, if you were to, like I mentioned before, that if one were to change their identity and
yeah,
transform, then they would likely increase. Like, I know it sounds like wishy-washy, but it's what we all say all the time. Like, you are the 5 people you surround yourself with. Have you ever
mm-hmm.
heard that? Okay, well, if people really believe that, they would be very careful about who they associate it with. I mean, rich people say all the time, why can't my friends all strive to have jets, something like that? Like, what is wrong with them? They see this flaw in them, and I sense that too in some people I associate with. So if it mattered that much, if your identity mattered that much, it's like you'd really protect it.
Yeah, I think it's also patterning and just like the idea that the like forging a new path is more difficult. You're going against the grain. Whereas if you're walking along a path that's already been established, it's easier to do. I think there's even been quantum physics that's shown that statistically, when somebody does something already, it's easier for other people to do that same thing. And so I think this goes further to just the individual. And if an individual is used to doing a certain thing or being in a certain pattern in life, that's really hard to break out of. And so sometimes, even if you have the identity, well, that is a first step. But then there's also the step of pushing yourself to break out of that mold as well. So I think there are many blocks along the path that could come up, but the identity is definitely a factor, I would say.
Okay. Um, so let's end it with this. Let's ask your higher self why you can't see, like, what's, if you were to change your identity and transform yourself, would that open up your ability to become, let's be careful about how we choose the word wealthy, financially free, have FU money, if you will. You have to reach what I like to call escape velocity, where you're not concerned with shit anymore. You just throw money at it.
Yeah. On some level, I feel like I'm at that point, but at the same time, I don't make that type of money. But let me see what comes up here.
Well, there's a point where the amount of money you have creates a certain, like, protection bubble from all the stuff that people worry about, all the little mind traps about, like, politics and inflation, value of the dollar, all the stuff that people really associate with. When you're like wealthy enough, you just put many, many layers of protection in front of you, and none of that really matters at all. So,
Yeah.
um, you know.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see why it is that I am um, dependent on money when I could be making more.
No, escape velocity. Let's be
Escape
specific.
velocity.
We want
Okay.
this is for the viewers. I'm trying to, analyze a psychic and understand what's holding you back from that, from
Okay.
freedom, real freedom.
Okay. The image that I'm seeing is an airplane. I'm on an airplane flying away from the place that I live, which currently is Portland, Oregon. So it looks like there's a lot of energy that's holding me in place from the place that I'm living. Um, it seems like other people's expectations seems to be affecting me. But it's also there's something about the location actually. It's interesting. But I'm seeing like different orbs, like different rings of energy coming from different people that I know that have an effect on me. It's interesting. It's literally what you were just saying. but
Yeah,
um,
that's for sure. And okay, but that's interesting.
but
Elaborate. Go ahead.
these are not people that I even associate myself with or hang out with. These are just people that know me. So it seems like they have some sort of energetic influence. Let me see more about this. Yeah, it's like the answer is being on this plane and going somewhere completely new where there are no expectations, basically. So it seems like it's really a lot of other people's energy and the way that that can influence someone's auric field.
So you need to get the fuck out of there, huh?
I've been I've been thinking that for a while, but yeah. So let me see if there's something else that comes
And
up
why
that.
do kids okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Why do kids have jets on YouTube?
Why do kids have jets
Yeah.
on YouTube?
I
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
mean,
Um,
it is.
yeah, I get that there's a sense of freedom that they have. Like, they haven't been tied down, they haven't been beaten down on some level energetically, where it's kind of like saying like an old dog, where a dog can kind of lose its energy, lose its drive, but you know how a happy puppy is, they're just gonna jump over any fence. So it seems like this is just something that happens over time to people. See if there's anything more to this. They, it seems like what you're saying from the beginning. It seems to be more like a mindset for them. They feel free. They feel that they can do these things. They don't feel afraid to take chances and take risk. Um, there's less walls, so it's like there's something about not acting out in a negative way, not doing things spontaneously to hurt people, but breaking the rules on some level and being like very spontaneous about things. So there's a sense of spontaneity that um, other people kind of push themselves away from because it feels not safe, or not safe. These people are willing to take on
And
challenges. They feel
do they
safe.
have like a different experience, like a consciousness, like if you were to make a Bitcoin prediction for this month as you did, will someone who is not meant to make money on that prediction, will they experience a different timeline than than the kids with jets or you and I? Is it that fluid where we're just kind of moving through a lava lamp of experiences, if you will, from different perspectives of the same physical reality, and we all think that we're just traveling through this linear timeline, but in reality it's a lot different.
What comes up for me is situations, timing that influences people, and things that may even influence their mind that makes some people invest in certain ways or run across specific information, or just again the spontaneous sort of situation where they just spontaneously do something. This seems like it's very um, high vibrational in the sense that there's a lot of joy behind it and there's less worry about it. So it seems like the more that you kind of worry about it, the less that you actually make off of it. And that kind of makes a lot of sense from my experience. Um,
Okay, but if two people were to place the same bet on Bitcoin, make your prediction, and it's like one makes money and one doesn't, is that like that would answer why psychic crypto predictions don't play out. So that's just the theory that I have, is that, they're all timelines exist. So yeah, maybe this is the current timeline, but since now you're involved, Jim, and you placed the bet and ruined it for everyone else because you're not meant to make any money, you know. Maybe everyone loses money on it. I don't know. But you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I think there's something more going on that has to do with um, patterning in the energy field, and this can have to do with chakras, and chakra is a mispronunciation of the word, but that's how everyone says it. Technically, a chakra. Thought you're supposed to say
Ah,
chakra,
no, no,
but
say it the other way.
I'm calling it
I'm making an executive decision. You could call it
chakra.
chakras. Yeah. No, no. Say
Yeah,
it the other way.
chakras.
Say it the
That's
American way.
American. That's I know that's how I say it, but I just
Oh,
like to point that
okay.
out. So um, kind of like the California surfer board version of the word chakra. I don't know.
Well,
um,
since now you're talking about energy, is something that you can do is take an individual who say gets a reading with you and breaks down their financial issues perhaps and kind of chisels away at those things so maybe they can energetically make more money. Like if you were to view your own self, you saw the sphere of other people's energies are holding you back from wealth. So if you can identify that in people who get readings with you, that could be a good service. Is that something that you can do?
oh yeah, that's something that I do regularly. Although it's usually not focused on money, because when people ask about money, they usually want predictions about it rather than like how can I improve myself. But at the same time, improving yourself is making you more abundant and easier to just run across what you need in life. Um, so I would say that in a way, that's what I do without calling it that necessarily.
It's
Um,
funny you mentioned that.
yeah, breaking the blocks, the patterns in people's lives. That's definitely one of the main things that I focus on. So yes.
Hmm. Okay. I would say that's a good service, even though it goes against some of my personal principles, but if you were able to become like a reflection, if you will, so someone could identify key issues for them to work on from their own higher self in order to break down those walls and barriers that are holding them back from becoming financially free. I think that's a good service. I would personally get that. I would enjoy that actually. I like to know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, yeah. I try not to make it sound like I'm just pointing out things that are wrong with people, but that's really how you grow
Yeah,
is by
exactly.
your
All
own
right.
reflection.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like a reading with Psychic Tai, go to psychictai.com, TAI, and I'm going to put that link in the description below. I'm personally going to sign up and I'm going to get this particular service because I like to work on myself and I like to make more money. And I do a lot of meditation to do these things, but I think there's only so far you could take it until you're just doing the same meditation over and over. So, wouldn't mind to hear some more insight. So I hope others do the same. Is there anything else to add from your higher self regarding wealth for others and their viewers?
I'll see if there's anything in particular. I'm just seeing diamonds representing clarity and just simplicity, and sometimes just the having a clear head and just doing what is simple in life and chasing what is almost obvious seems to be more successful. That's that's the
What
quick
what
message I'm getting.
what is obvious is more successful? What do you mean?
Not trying to be tricky or too complicated and just being like, oh, this is what I want. I'm just gonna move towards that, and
I
not
see.
trying to outsmart the market or whatever, all that tricky stuff that can backfire. Not that it doesn't work, um, because sometimes that can be the path that you're on. But if you're trying to like push too hard instead of just like there's a sense of ease that comes with it. And if you're striving too hard, you're kind of pushing yourself off balance of the path that is just kind of like the easy, obvious path of reward, I guess you could call it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sound advice. I'm going to end this one here. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Au revoir.